guys, it's John here for the final divisional preview video, and it will be looking at the Pacific Division. And coming in last for the Pacific Division, this division was very hard for me to predict, but I have the Dallas Stars coming in last. They had some great acquisitions in the offseason as they acquired veterans Jaromir Jagr and Ray Whitney. And they also acquired Derek Roy in a trade with the Buffalo Sabres, where they got rid of Steve Ott. And so we'll look at in goal. They have Kari Lehtinen, who has been up and down in his career, but I think he's finally found a home in Dallas and has been playing pretty well there and will have a good season. At D, they still, of course, have Alex Goligoski, who they acquired in the trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins 2 years ago, where they got rid of James Neal. And they still have Jordy Ben, Trevor Daley, and Stefan Robida. Up front, as I said, they acquired Jaromir Jagr and Ray Whitney, which will provide even more experience to the Dallas Stars forward core, which is already pretty old. They have Michael Ryder, who they acquired a couple years ago in free agency after the Stanley Cup, after his year with the Boston Bruins, where they won the Stanley Cup. They have Derek Roy, which will be good for their center core. He'll probably, depending on how they want to work it, he'll either be a first or second line center. They have Captain Brendan Morrow, Jamie Benn, who is holding out right now because he's a restricted free agent and he doesn't have a deal done. But that's one of the reasons why I have him coming in last this year, because he's arguably their best player and he's holding out. But once they get that done, he'll definitely help improve their team. But yeah, so, and they also have Louis Eriksson, who's had a pretty solid career so far in his short career. But all in all, I just think with Jamie Benn holding out, and just I think that's going to really hurt the team. So I have them coming in last this year. Next, we have the Phoenix Coyotes, who made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. And they have Mike Smith in goal, who was coming off an awesome season last year. Because the year before last, he was the backup for the Lightning. He wasn't even a starter. And then last year, he didn't get traded. He just signed over to Phoenix and became the starter and led them all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So I don't think he'll be able to repeat that good of a year that he had last year, but I think he'll be a solid number one goaltender. So that won't be in goal won't be a problem for the Coyotes. At D, they're led by Keith Yandel, Derek Morris, Zivanek Mikalik, who they got back from the Penguins, and youngster Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who will be a star for years to come. And up front, they're led by Captain Shane Doan, veteran Steve Sullivan, Antoine Vermette, Radim Verbata, and Martin Hansel. Then they also have some solid third and fourth liners in Matthew Lombardi, which I think is a good pickup. David Moss, Rafi Torres, who of course had the hit on Marian Hossa in the playoffs and got suspended for he's still suspended for the first 8 games of this season. Kyle Chipchura, Mikkel Bodker, and Paul Bizionette. So the Coyotes have a pretty solid team, but I just think Mike Smith won't be able to replicate as good of a year as he had last year, and I just think the team in general won't be able to have as good of a season as they did last year. So I have them coming in fourth. Next, we have the Stanley Cup champions, the Los Angeles Kings, coming in third. And I'll start in net. Of course, they have Jonathan Quick and Jonathan Bernier in net. And Quick actually had off-season surgery. And also, I just think I think the expectations are going to be a little bit too high on Quick this year. And I think he'll have a good year, but it's not going to be a Vezina-worthy year this year. At D, they have Drew Doughty, Matt Green, who actually just got sidelined for the rest of the year. He's out for the rest of the season, which is really going to hurt them. He's their alternate captain. Then they have Slava Voinov, Rob Scuderi, Alec Martinez round out the depth. So in D, losing Matt Green is actually it's going to hurt the Kings more than people think, because not a lot of people not a lot of people might not know Matt Green, but he's a big player not only on the ice but off the ice for the Kings. And up front, they have Captain Dustin Brown, Jeff Carter, Simon Gagne, Anze Kopitar just returned from an injury, Dustin Penner, Mike Richards, Jarrett Stahl, and Justin Williams. So they are loaded up front. It's definitely a collective scoring. There's not like I like to think of the Kings forwards kind of like Boston, where they have just a great core group of forwards, and there's not like one standout guy. They all work together and collectively score. And I think the Kings will make the playoffs, probably like a 7 or an 8 seed, which they were like last year, but I don't think they'll have a run like they did last year, but I have them making the playoffs and coming in third in this division. Next, we have the Anaheim Ducks, who I have on the rebound this year. In net, they have Jonas Hiller, who I think Jonas Hiller is going to be the X factor on this team, because if Jonas Hiller can get back to the form he had a couple years ago, then the Ducks will be poised to make a run this year. But if he plays like he did last year, and if he doesn't stay healthy, then I think the Ducks will falter. But I made this pick on the thought that Hiller will stay healthy and have a good season. At D, they'll be led by youngsters Cam Fowler and Lucas Spizza. They also signed Sheldon Surrey in the offseason, which I thought is an interesting acquisition, but will help on their power play definitely. And then they also have Brian Allen and Tony Lidman and Francois Beauchemin to round out the depth. So their defense is a good mix of veterans and youngsters, and I think they have a pretty solid defense. Up front, they're going to look for rebound years from Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry, who had off seasons. I think the lockout's really going to help Teemu Solani, and I think he will have another great year. They made an interesting signing in Daniel Winnick. He can play anywhere. He can play on the penalty kill, on the power play. He can play on any line. I think he will actually have a lot of success in Anaheim this year. They, of course, have veteran Saku Koivu back for another year to bring leadership on and off the ice. Bobby Ryan, I think if he comes into this year in good shape and everything, he could get really hot this year, especially if Getzlaf and Perry start heating up again. Because Bobby Ryan, when he gets hot, he can score. He can just score goals nonstop. So I have the Ducks having a bounce back year this year and coming in second, maybe like sixth in the West. And in first, I have the San Jose Sharks. In net, they have Antti Niemi, who of course won the Cup with Chicago a couple years ago. At D, they have Dan Boyle, Brent Burns, who is hurt right now, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's hurt. Douglas Murray, Brad Stewart, who they acquired, they got back. I think that's a good acquisition. They got him from Detroit. It brings more experience at the back end, and they also have Mark-Edward Vlasic. So they have a very solid defense. And up front, they have Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, Logan Couture, Ryan Clough, Joe Pavelski, Martin Havlat. They are loaded. Their first two lines are definitely loaded. And they actually just acquired Scott Gomez, who after the Canadians bought him out. So that'll be interesting to see how he does and fits in there in San Jose. And I don't think he'll be playing all the time. I think he's more of a depth player, but when he goes in, I can see him on the third or fourth line, probably third line for San Jose. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, in general, I just think the Sharks are a very deep team, just all throughout, forward, defense, and they have a strong goalie who has Stanley Cup experience. So, and I think the Sharks will live up to their regular season success as they've had it in the past couple of years, and I think they'll have success in the playoffs this year. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they can get to the Western Conference Finals at least. So that is my final divisional preview, guys. It's the Pacific Division. I hope you like these. In the next couple of days, I'll be bringing out my playoff predictions, and I'll look at each conference, and I'll give you all the seedings and stuff and how I think it's gonna all roll out. But that's it for now, guys. If you liked it, please like it down below. It'd really help, and leave a comment on what you think is gonna happen with this division, because I had to think hard on this one. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time.
We started from the bottom, but we racing to the top. And we never ever sleep, but got dreams of getting on. And times are looking hard, but you know we'll never stop. And we do it for the fans, cause these fans are all we got. But we ain't in this alone, we thankful for your help. I'm rapping heavyweight and reaching for that.